Style Podcast. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast, a safe space where we get real and go deep to explore the intersection of modern spirituality, entrepreneurship, identity, and purpose. Hosted by intuitive artist and entrepreneur Daniela West, join us as we explore the transformational journey of becoming more fully you, whole, healed, and human. So, in today's episode, we're going to be diving into a really interesting topic of overcoming self-doubt through style and the star signs. So, to help me with this amazing episode, I wanted to bring in a very special guest expert to share more on this. So today, I'm speaking with Yana Johnson, personal style consultant, CEO, and founder of Your Aesthetic Style, or YAS for short. She teaches a 10-day online program that helps women transform their outfits and interiors without shopping. Her YAS method is fast, personal, and green, good for the environment and good for your wallet. She started YAS in Oslo, Norway in 2017, where she lived with her Norwegian husband and her sons. Since then, she's moved her business online, and she and her family currently live in beautiful Denver, Colorado. So, Yana, I am so excited to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love this topic.
I know. I was like, we got to bring Yana in here. She's my style expert. We got to do this. So I'm so excited. It's going to be fun.
I feel like this was years in the making. You guys are in for a treat. We've had some great conversations. Now we get to share one on a podcast.
I know. I think we've been talking about doing a podcast episode for like 3 years. So it's finally happening.
Yes. The stars are aligned.
Yes, even to celebrate, if you guys can't see, I'm wearing this tarot card moon t-shirt to represent astrology. So I'm excited. So Yana, can you please introduce yourself a bit to our audience? Tell us more about YAS and what do you do over there?
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many layers, as always. But I feel like in a nutshell, YAS and what I do is really about enhancing the beauty you already have. I'm so passionate. Also like you, like an artist background. That's kind of how I got into YAS and creating this. And I just felt really frustrated at the ways that I would see women questioning their style. And I felt that a lot of like style kind of magazines, our sources for style were part of that questioning, like things that would say like, buy this look or shop this look and stuff. And it's like, I'm like, they're not teaching about style. It's just talking about what's there in the items. And so I created Your Aesthetic Style out of that kind of frustration, using my own concept of like an art background where I used to do a lot of like painting. And I'd always use these certain design elements and principles. So color and balance. And I noticed like, oh, I can do that in my outfits. I can do that in my interiors. And I want to teach others how to do this. And that's how YAS was born. And it's a very simple concept, actually, of just a quiz, a really fun quiz, which Daniela has taken and she knows it. And it just gets you not thinking as much. It gets you out of that overthinking out of your head and just looking at what do you visually love? Because I'm all about like, this is something that we're already drawn to. We already love, but we haven't necessarily found the means to express it. And that was really important for me because I felt like that is the response back to when someone's telling you, you must have this or you must get this or that doesn't look right on you. Like I've heard so many style wound stories from being in this too that really kind of get to me. Even for me, I'll have to say the color yellow, it's a big reason why I wear it because someone had told me they didn't like how yellow looked on me, and I didn't wear it for like decades. Yeah, like
I didn't know
so it's
that.
very real. Yeah. And so color is a big thing I talk about. That's a big one. I think a lot of people have different wounds around and things, but the whole heart of YAS is really that. It's like really getting back to that. Why do you love those things that you loved when you were younger? Embracing that more and understanding how to articulate it in a way that's through the language of design. I feel like that's my gift that I can offer. It's like I can help you understand those design words behind it so that you can feel good about your decisions and less questioning.
Less questioning. Yeah. Less questioning is a really interesting thing to think about when it comes to our design choices, expressing who we are to the world. I find
Yeah.
that so interesting. I'd love if you could expand a little bit more about this concept of like questioning or getting into our heads when it comes to um, from what clothes we wear to how we do our websites, how we do our branding, whether it's in person or online expression. I'd love to hear more about that and kind of like what led you more into this field.
Yeah. I think like there's this it's a little bit of like a culture that's been created, if that makes sense. So but I honestly, the thing that's led me the most into this and the thing that's like reinforced, and I also feel like this is my unique gift, that there's like this combination of my background and experiences that I'm able to channel this in a way. I've really felt that. And that's been a whole journey, which I think we'll get into too.
Yeah.
But if I just take like art class, for example, like I used to I was basically an art student, gonna go to art school all my life, and then I switched to politics. And this is really how I got into this concept, yeah, of your aesthetic style, because I was like expressing myself through painting primarily, a lot of things, and then suddenly, things that I were doing hours of a day of painting was taken out of my schedule, and I had to find other ways to express it. But one of the things you do when you're painting in an art class is you present your work, right? And you just say why you were inspired to create this, right? And express it. And it's very objective because art, subjective, right? Sorry. It's very subjective because art is just about expression, right? It's like, this was beautiful to me and it's expressed. So I had years and years of just being able to, and it's still vulnerable as an artist to show your work, right? And talk. But I had years and years of just expressing like why I love what I love, why this inspired me, where I drew inspiration from, as well as receiving input and feedback of like what other people see. So the whole concept is really about what do you want your eyes to be drawn to? And that's really art in a lot of ways, right? You get to decide where the eyes go. So fast forward as I started thinking about how can I teach this? How can I make this simple? It was really like, okay, first understand what your eyes love. What do you feel is like uniquely beautiful to you? Because like I always give the example, you're shopping with a friend, right? Like you might be like, oh my gosh, I love this. And she's like, oh, that's cute, right? And then there's something else that she loves. And so it's like, I got more and more like, how do we really define what that is? And that's what your aesthetic style is all about. It's specifically like, what are those design elements and principles that you love, that you're kind of repeatedly drawn to? And it's so fun because you can see it with your stuff easily. If it's things you've bought, and if it's things that you even at some point were like, oh my gosh, I love this, even though it doesn't make logical sense, right? Maybe sometimes, but you're just continuously drawn to it. And like I give that example with color and balance, you can kind of see it in my background. I love playing with the color wheel, different color combinations like orange and blue. They're complementary colors, but I've got to balance them out. And so in high school, I would love to I wore a lot of colorful stuff, but I hadn't, even though was using color and balance in my artwork, right? In my paintings, I hadn't thought about how to use it in my clothes. That came much later when I switched to politics. And I have this funny story of like, I've got these hot pink pants that were like these fading, like this hot pink that fades to white. And I loved them. It was like I bought them because something about my aesthetic style was drawing me to them, but I could not figure out how to style them. And it really frustrated me. So it was like this one item that I loved, but I couldn't figure out this principle, like how to balance it out. So even though I could wear it other ways, it wasn't making me happy. And that's I think that's the real core that I love helping people with. And I think that's honestly missing is a lot of style education isn't taught. We're kind of sold a look that looks really pretty because it's styled, right? But then you buy just that one item, just the hat, just the pants, right? And you've got to figure out how to style it. And it's really fun. It's meant to be self-expression, right? But we start to get in our head, we start to question it, or maybe it's like you love the item, but figuring how to make it work with your clothes, right? And that's where the whole aesthetic style concept really helps because you can see each item has an aesthetic style, but also how do you combine items together based on an aesthetic style? And that's really what I teach, what I go into, because I think that's the big place we get stuck. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I'd love to like dig in a little bit more too into the overall impact of your work and kind of what is sort of the deeper benefit of somebody being able to really understand like, hey, this is the style that I love. This is the style that I feel most represents me, my authentic self. This is a style that makes me feel the most confident, right? It sounds like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what you help people with. Actually, this is what we have in common, me in the digital space and
Yeah.
you with styling and interiors and clothing. So when someone goes through this type of experience with you, what what is the overall impact? What's the transformation that you've seen with your clients, for example?
Yeah. I think one of the 2, 3 things stand out, but probably one of the biggest ones and something that I'm so happy that this is the overall impact they're bringing to the world is the just do it. It sounds like Nike, right? But just try it. Like there's such a hesitancy, there's such a second guessing debate and back and forth in our heads when it comes to styling decisions, whether that's buying or how to put something together. And I remember she's one of the oldest people who's gone through my program like a long time ago. And the whole program is fast, but it's teaching you this method you can do over and over again. So I've seen over the years how she's just doing this over and over again. And she said, the biggest thing you helped me with was like, just style it, just make the change. And she used the example a lot with her home of how she's been able to, they live in the same apartment for several years as a small apartment, and her kids are grown through different ages, and she's been able to redesign it based on each of their ages and stages they're in. And she's had so much fun and not bought a lot. So the huge impact is also buying less because before she used to constantly buy things that she felt inspired by in the shop, and she'd come home and just feel so frustrated, like it looked good in the shop but it doesn't look good in my home. And
Huh.
so that was playing to this questioning and doubting herself, right? Like where she felt her home was the problem or her styling skills. And then now it's like not only does she not question her styling skills and stuff, it's also like she's so clear on what she loves that she tackles these bigger challenges and just goes for it. And then she sees like, oh my gosh, she knows what to do. Instead of, I often say like, we kind of try to like get the perfect picture done or look and then I can act. No, it's really like act first, start creating, and that's when you're going to get so much more inspiration, ideas, all those things coming to you. So that I think that's like the biggest and heart of it is like this kind of create first, go, observe what inspires you, start creating, share about it, and then it keeps going. And another one, a big one, is just renewed appreciation for what they already have. And that's huge I work a lot in the sustainability space, of like consuming less and working with what we have, repurposing. That's literally what my course teaches, but it's also like a huge transformation because it's this feeling of enough, like I am enough as I am, right? And that's huge in beauty. Like even saying that, I get chills, right? I am enough. I have enough, creating this beauty. I know how to create beauty with what I've got. Like that is so empowering. And that's like a direct, I feel like that's a direct voice to what we're often being taught to, especially in the area of style, where it's like, yes, you're beautiful, but you need this thing, right? Well, when you have this, it's going to bring this more into your life and that. And so, yeah, if I were to like pinpoint that's really the key of like, knowing and you're enough and acting on it, creating, and then being able to see the results of that. Because the whole concept is like working with what you already have. And I always say that like we often will say like, yeah, we have this kind of yes, but, like I will, yeah, I'd love to, create my dream home, but I live in a rental, right? Or I'd love to wear more, but yeah, once I lose this amount of weight or something. And YAS is all about actually create that vibe. You can create that look with what you have now. And a lot of it is just that, that I can do it, I can create. So much is more, it's so interesting because there are these uh, outer results of just being happier and how they express, things like that, buying less clothes, buying less stuff. But it's the inner stories of transformation that I love hearing the most, and they never get old. And just that reaffirming of like, oh my gosh, like I can do this. I've already been doing this. It's not. It's like coming back into something rather than um something totally new. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you can express this or see this in your work, but
Yeah.
it's like it's already there. Like that your aesthetic style is something you've already known and been drawn to your whole life. But like listening to that again, like reaffirming that is a whole deeper level of wisdom and self appreciation. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting so excited. I'm getting chills as you're talking about this because, yes, I do have my astrology perspective as you're speaking. I hear it so clearly because I think how we both approach style, kind of where we intersect, especially, is basically awakening people to their inner truths,
Yeah.
their inner blueprint. And you said it yourself. It's kind of like they're coming back to themselves through the
Yeah.
process working with you. You're helping illuminate for them or awaken to them what's already inside. Like they already have it. They already know what to do. They already know who they are. They already know what they like.
Yeah.
But sounds like they've been conditioned from all the marketing messages, all the advertising, all the societal norms that tell us to buy more. Like you have you have this, but you need this. You need more and more and more, and it's never enough. And I
Mhm.
think that's what I've been hearing you saying is,
Yeah.
become aware of this societal programming, the societal conditioning that we're constantly bombarded with since birth, at least in Western society.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it sounds like working with you is a process of empowering people to wake up to their inner knowing.
Yeah. Exactly. And I like to always say that it's very fast. Yeah, that's one of the first things to say, right? Fast, personal, and green, because when it is something inside you, right, like you respond to it. Just like astrology and star reading, right? You can do it quite quickly because it's like it's that it's there, and what I
Yeah.
think is one of the best things is it's around your home and things. And I used to, as a part of my business, and also I would go into people's homes. So even if they didn't take the quiz, that's another part of my business. That's the core thing I focus on now is the 10-day program, take this YAS quiz, do the styling yourself, because I love to teach people. It's more of an impact. Learn how to do this than just hire me, to come in and do it for you. When I would
Yeah.
go into people's homes, though, it was so easy to see, and it was so fascinating, right? To see, oh, like all the things they bought. And so that's why I say it's so fast, because it's like, it's there, but because of this conditioning, it's kind of like blinders put over our eyes of like,
Mhm.
we don't value or trust our own intuition. It sounds too easy. It sounds too good to be true, right?
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
thing that I've been drawn to, this thing that I feel like I like, but it doesn't necessarily mesh with things that I've heard or seen, right? That's what
Mhm.
causes it.
Mhm.
But when you do just lean into that more, it's so fast. It's so like the inspiration start flowing, and that's why taking action fast, making changes quickly, it's all the byproducts of that. It's just a very cool skill to have, because once you know how to do that, any home, new homes, new situations, you're able to recreate it in a way that reflects you. And that's the point, right? Like there's so many
Mhm.
beautiful interiors, there's so many beautiful styles, but if it doesn't make you happy, right? It's got to be
That's the
beautiful
point.
to you.
Yeah.
What is the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I love how you mentioned your quiz because that's definitely something I wanted to bring up. Because that's actually the main way that I discovered your business a couple of years ago as a designer. I came into your quiz as a tool to help awaken me to my own signature style. Like as a designer in my work, I really wanted to understand, why am I making these style decisions? Why do I design websites in a certain way, or even my clothing?
Yeah.
Why am I drawn to, certain colors or textures or whatever? And taking your quiz was literally, it's the tool that opened up my eyes. It really did.
Yeah.
It awakened me to like my true signature style that comes from me. It's not conditioned from the outside.
Yeah.
I'm not copying any other designer style.
Yeah.
It really helped me um just create my own unique process and flow, and put different ingredients together in my own original way, which I think is absolutely key for personal expression, because it's personal.
It is.
Why would our expression look like anyone else in the world? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If our souls are all different, if our DNA is all different, if our birth chart, our astrological birth chart is different, for example. So I would love to
Yeah.
hear more about your
The
quiz
quiz.
and
Great.
your method.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I could geek out on this all
I
day.
know. I know.
When you hit someone point like that, they're so passionate. But but so this is again the art background and the thing, but these concepts of design elements and principles, they're everywhere. So in every styling, painting, design, photography, they've got certain elements and principles they use. I found the most cross intersection. So I didn't take all of them from all of the designer, but I found the most reoccurring ones. So there's about seven principles. I get this wrong. Seven elements and six principles. And what happens is if you think like a matrix, right? So you've got like all the seven elements up here and all the six principles, then there's a bunch of different combinations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what aesthetic style is. And so I created this Pinterest quiz. There's actually about 114 different possible combinations because within it, and this is where it's so key, like you said, to expressing your personal style. And again, design elements and principles, they're in nature, they're used in art. That's not something I came up with, but this quiz and concept for how to identify them, is what I invented. And it's basically helping you recognize that like within each of those, there's also nuances. Like some people like more wavy, organic line, and some like more geometric line and shape. So even if someone has line, there's nuances to line and there's nuances to texture and all those things. So that makes up the 114 combination that with when you account for those nuances. And that's pretty huge, right? That's already a huge number. But even if someone had the exact same aesthetic style, they could still express it in different ways. And that's also very cool. So I have color and balance. I notice people who also have color and balance, but they express it in other ways, right? Like the type of colors they use. This is where it's so cool, right? Because color analysis, for example, is a thing, right? And I don't go into that. I talk about color theory more, but color analysis does certain colors look different on each person, right? So I'm using color and balance with the colors that feel good and look good on me, right? Someone else with color and balance will use them with the colors that feel. So it's like this avenue for expressing style that's limitless. Because I found that a lot of the avenues for expressing style can be constraining for people that like I felt like all I could find was you're eclectic. You like different things. I'm like, that is so like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like when people talk about style words, I was like, come on. That's like,
It's so vague. It's so general.
Yeah. So that's the whole concept with YAS and aesthetic style is like, once you identify your key combo, just as you expressed, like I love hearing your experience of how you could apply it with graphic design, with websites, because it's like, it's I specialize in clothing and interiors because that's kind of the way I know how to explain it. But it's actually really, there's so many other ways it could be expressed. Anything visual has an aesthetic style to it. But I focus on people finding out their unique combo more than needing to know all the possibles out there. It's really helping you find it. And so what you did with that quiz is the quiz has all possible 114 combinations on there. and you're just clicking them, right? You're clicking only what draws you, right? Like I gave you that, not in your head, but just visually, why do I love this? Not analyzing it. And when you do that, it's like there's a repetition of those certain elements. They repeat a lot, right? And you can just easily see, oh my gosh, it's a lot of line, it's a lot of rhythm. And then you tally it up at the end, and that's how you find it. So that was the cool part. But I also use Pinterest because Pinterest will recommend things to you, right? So once you've done that quiz, Pinterest is noticing like, oh yeah, like it's a visual, it's visual AI, right? And so they kind of recommend with your aesthetic style. But you don't even need that, because if you as you experience turning to your work, what you're creating in your home and outfits, it starts to like jump out at you. But the quiz kind of like triggers that subconscious.
Yes. So I want to give our audience like a little concrete example. I think this is going to be really fun for you and me on the spot. Let's do this. So when I took your quiz, I remember my results. I think I took it in 2022, like years ago. I still remember my results because they're a game changer. And I want to hear your perspective. I got line, rhythm, and space. Line, rhythm, and space. So just from these elements, are you able to point out, even in my background and now, can you describe to the audience, especially if someone's listening, watching? Yeah, can you describe how you see these elements in my current setup? Now?
So first, let them know that line and space are elements, and rhythm is a principle. So elements are like, think of them as like the ingredients, and the principle is the recipe. So it's how those elements are used together. So with your outfit, your hat is a really good example of rhythm and line, because it's got these, and also it's got texture to it. Like there's other ones too, but you want to find your most dominant, but it's this repetitive kind of, it creates a movement. It looks like it's moving and repetitive. That's rhythm. Now your earrings are a really good example of line and space, because you can see they're really defined, those squares. Yeah, let's get a close up there.
Close up.
They're actually more like rings, kind of squares, but you see the line very well defined, but there's also space in between it. So space is about positive and negative space. Again, there's some people, I always find this funny when I did interiors, a lot of couples, they had the same element of space, but one liked positive space, which I call like maximalism. It's like, how can we fill this space with as much things? And the other liked negative space, which is more minimalism, right? And so you could see where they were butting heads, even though it was the same element. But your earrings are an example of negative space. So you've got the line, but it shows the negative space. So you can see your hair behind it. Or if you had a different, if you were behind a different background or a cool wallpaper, like that would show through behind it. And so that's a good example of negative space. And I mean, you've got all kinds of cool lines in your jacket. There's different things. We could go more into it.
Lines, yep.
Yeah, and I love it. But the cool thing is, like, you just chose that, right? Like, you chose it based on what you're drawn to and you love. And that's the point. And it's just going to show up more. Where I recommend people, what helps them is like, let's say you're picking an outfit and you're feeling like, it's nice, but I want more of a wow factor. I want something more. That's where you can really lean into it. And usually, it might be that you want more rhythm in it, or you want something. It's one of your elements or principles is less apparent. And if you just amp that up a little, you're gonna feel wow. But also people will notice, because it's very cohesive. That's one of the things that, like, a lot of the misconceptions around style is thinking that I've got to buy, like, there's a trend, right? Like to buy a lot of things that go well together, neutrals, easy to mix and match. And if your aesthetic style is like harmony or unity, that's really great. That you might want that. But for a lot of people, they're doing that out of a hesitancy to play around and express their style. And I think it's really repressing that, And so what I try to like empower you to understand is that cohesion doesn't come from the items. It really comes from knowing design elements and principles, your aesthetic style, because then you can choose and mix and match items together um, based on their common, like, where their shared elements and principles. Because someone might use a necklace like this to really emphasize texture. I'm using it to emphasize color, to bring in my brand colors, right? There's different reasons we choose it. And that's what style is all about. It's your intention. And the more that your intention comes through, the more you're going to look to other people like, dang, how's she so put together? How did she always have that? Because you've put that time intention in it, right? You've kind of created that cohesion. And yeah, so it's so much more simple than we think. I don't know. I can geek out about it and explain it. It's really not the point. It's like the more you lean in and embrace and listen to, like, okay, what do I want my eyes to see, right? My eyes love to see color. If I'm missing color, I'm usually not going to feel as good in that outfit, And that's for me personally, right? But for every person, that's really the key. That's the yes. You want it to feel like, yes, this is great.
I was just gonna say the feeling. I was just gonna say that. I love that. Yeah, for me, when I think of style, I guess what I really think as the end result is like, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel by putting on this outfit or putting on this hat or putting on these earrings? How do I want to feel like when I put on a faux fur coat, And so many times as I'm thinking about my style decisions, whether it's my outfits, my home decor, or like my website, my branding, it's the energy that I want to transmit out into the world. It's the way that I want to present myself because of how I'm feeling on the inside as well. And I think the combination of like what's on the outside matching the inside, like I'm feeling confident and I want to show that. So I'm gonna wear this some baller jacket that makes me feel like queen of the world,
Yeah, exactly. Wear the jacket, right? Like
wear the jacket.
I think
bold.
Yeah, we have those things. We get excited. We buy them. We have them in our closet. But you got to feel that feeling to like wear it. And that's what I feel comes up a lot, right? People kind of reach for the same thing when they're not feeling good, right? It's just, right? Because it takes an extra step, but it does. It does take work getting dressed every morning, right? But if you can lean into it and this is fun, this is a chance to express my style more, right? Like that's what a great way to start our day. Yeah.
And it will create, when you put on an outfit that makes you feel confident or makes you feel like your best self, your most authentic, let's say your higher self, right? This is how my higher self feels and how they want to show up in the world. Even if you don't feel like that at first, I've noticed when I really put on an outfit that helps me embody kind of my higher self, it instantly lifts up my energy. Like my posture will change. I'll go out into the world and, maybe people will come up and compliment me, or people are just drawn to me a little bit more because, I'm feeling good about what I'm wearing and I'm authentically representing myself to the world. And I really do think people, they take notice, and I think it actually becomes very magnetic,
Oh yeah, I think so. Speaking of magnetic, because it's like you said, the outside matches the inside, expressing yourself. And, that's just that in itself is enough, because I think confidence, when we talk about building confidence, it's like acting more on your intuition. That, at least in my experience, that's literally what's built my confidence. And so part of like my intuition is this, I'm drawn to these certain things, visually. And so acting on it, wearing it, expressing it, I literally feel more confident.
I love that. And speaking of confidence, I'd love to shift a little bit into the idea of star signs, because I think this extra a spiritual lens that we can bring into the idea of style and self-expression. So we recently did a brand astrology reading, which was super, super fun, super interesting. And I kind of want to do a little on the spot.
Ooh, okay, sure. I would love it.
A little on the spot analysis, kind of like what you did with me and your method, your YAS method. I would love to kind of express to the listeners out there what I'm seeing, because I remember your birth chart really, really well. And I would love
Awesome.
to, yes,
I love it. Go for it.
I would love to see. So I do remember your sun signs in Cancer. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sun signs in Cancer, which is a water sign. And sun sign is the role that you are naturally showing up in the world. And when we first went through your birth chart, I thought, okay, your sun sign's in Cancer. It's all about the home. It's all about comfort and being cozy and family, nostalgia, sentimentality. So just with that in mind, I look behind you and I'm seeing these two blue paintings on the wall. And for me, my mind is instantly like, okay, Cancer, water sign. We've got the blue. We've got the
Yes.
coziness.
Yes. And that one actually says in Norwegian, "We love home."
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. That couldn't be more symbolic of the Cancerian energy.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Plus, your role of
Yeah.
literally focusing on the home, creating a cozy, safe, welcoming space, inviting, something for the family to all be together and enjoy. Very Cancerian qualities. So I was like, God, just from looking at her sun sign, we get so much information into your role and your style and the colors that come out. I remember your rising sign, I believe, was Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
Sagittarius. And the amazing thing about looking at the rising sign in a birth chart is it actually reveals so much about your visual style.
Interesting. Ooh. The
Yes.
YAS connection there. Rising signs.
Your
Yeah.
visual style. So when we discovered your rising sign in Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. It's all about freedom and exploration and fun and playfulness and adventure, and learning and expansion. So when we discovered this, I was like, this makes so much sense for your brand. Your colors are extremely playful.
Yes. I love it.
Like, how was it for you when we discovered this?
I mean, it was so cool. And also because I feel like at least right now, let's say fashion is going through a more subdued, neutral moment. You know, it says the pendulum might swing back to color.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I have had situations where it's like my stuff is too playful. Like people don't take it serious, right? Fashion is very serious. And so I've had moments where people snubbed me, and stuff for that. And I was like, I'm not going to be anything else, like, because my brand is all about this fun. That's what I can do. So it was just so reaffirming, right? Rather than I'm literally living that, rather than stick to what's the trend or expression of fashion at the moment, for being an aesthetic brand, right? People have certain concepts of how that should look right now, right? But this brand is the brand. It's so much of me. And it's literally based on my aesthetic style, how I came up with it. So it's like to try to remove that wouldn't make sense to try to fit into the current fashion that's going to change. So it was so reaffirming for me. It felt good. And it felt like I was still kind of staying into that, but it was just like, oh, it makes total sense.
Good. Good. Yeah. No, it sounds like, and much like what you do as style is really just helping people awaken to what's already inside them and
Yeah.
helping validate that, but really just empowering them to trust like your inner blueprint.
Yeah.
You I think people have an awareness of what they're drawn to, but they sometimes get into so much self-doubt when they compare to, other people in your field, and even thinking this limiting belief that fashion must be serious, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like you at all.
No. Oh, I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because that's where I've had the most people reaching out to me, because it's the same thing, right? That playfulness and color, it stands out. So on the side of getting snubbed from it, it's also people reaching out of like, oh my gosh, you reminded me how much I love pink, or how much I forgot to. I wore a pink blazer today just because, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. To
So
have
it's
fun.
like, yeah, it's fun. Like what is the point of style if you're not having fun, if you're not able to express? And yes, we do have to show up in certain spaces, but I think I just see it a lot, like in a lot of workplaces and areas, it's becoming more and more expressive. It's less about,
Mhm.
a certain dress code and a hearing. You can appear professional and still be very colorful. Like that was a huge moment for me of
Yeah.
like letting go of a lot of my more serious colors and just
Mhm.
embracing the colorful blazers and all those kind of things that, it's great. It's any networking event, it's a great talking point. Right? People
Mhm.
can spot me far away.
Yeah, and
It's
you'll
used it all to
instantly stand
help
out.
my brand. Yeah.
You'll instantly stand out, as that colorful, playful person in your field. And I just love thinking about your rising sign in Sagittarius. That's the energy. And that's the
Yeah.
energy that you carry naturally through your style. And it's so cool.
Which is so cool because like
Yeah.
I kind of knew about rising signs, but I didn't know what they meant and everything. You really helped me with that. But it's like, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't know if they're opposites, but they've definitely got different energies, like the Cancer homebody, the
Yep. Mhm.
adventurer Sagittarius, right?
Yes. Yep.
And I feel like I have this kind of interesting in myself. So it was like, oh, that's where it's coming from, Like I need to lean into both of those. If I try to be too much of one or the other, it's not fully me.
Yes, that's such a good point. And I think that's what style is all about for me,
Yeah.
or self-expression in general.
Mhm.
It's all about, yeah, our multidimensionality, tapping into every aspect of who we are. I mean, nobody's just one thing or one
Yeah.
label. So why
Yeah.
is society trying to put us all into one label,
Hey,
you know?
yeah, you nail it. That I really like that gets me always riled up. Like I'm like, why? Like it doesn't make sense. It's more of a like trying to make it make sense. But
Mhm.
but I think society would be better off if all of us are self-expression. I mean, we created businesses out of finding our unique gifts and expression, right? Like we're
Mhm. Yeah.
contributing to society.
Yeah.
So many businesses are like that. Like, I think we're better off when we can lean into our self-expression and bring something unique to the world that way.
Yes, I agree.
So
We're not just better off, we're so much more powerful and we're so much more free when
true.
we do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I just got chills from that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You've both been struggling with
With
the
cough.
coughing throats today.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, good
But
girl.
can I share more about what I learned from your star sign? Is that like your star reading of me, my business, like on a brand side too? Because yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to just I really like there's it's funny because I teach and I'm all about helping people remember you're enough and working with what you have. And at the same time, I felt a lot of challenges in growing my business and brand or in my ideas and my strategies where I just felt like I was constantly coming up with things that I was thinking that others weren't seeing.
Mm,
Like innovative. I love to come up with new ideas and innovative. And that was a huge thing that came out in the reading. Like that's just part of who I am. And
mm,
so even that awareness was so good of like not fighting it so much anymore, right? Just be like trust it and not kind of look for someone else who's done what you've done because there probably isn't.
yeah.
That was like, oh, okay. Okay. Like I feel like I put so much energy into like that. But one of the biggest things that helped me practically strategy wise that I'm already applying from, oh no, I feel like it was just 2 weeks ago, right? That we did this.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
wasn't even that long.
yeah.
But I'm already like a huge part of where my challenge was, but also my potential to grow is like around communicating, right? Communication and relationships.
Mhm.
And somehow, like, again, I don't even think it's fully conscious. This is where I love it. Like, I'm already just intuitively doing this, but I'm leaning so much more into, and people came into my life that are really key, like mentors or do work in communication. And I'm just going full in on that, knowing that that is the key to my strategy. Because I think for
Mm,
all you business owners, brand owners out there, right? The number one thing is knowing what to prioritize, right? There's so many things we've got to do. There's so many uses for our energy, but you want to nail what is the key things to prioritize, to use for your energy and your strategy. And that really helped me. I think that's like, so that's why I really recommend your strategy sessions for brand owners, because like even if you've been in business a while for me and you've made a lot of decisions and things, you're always constantly needing to think big, move forward, and prioritize. And it just aligned that for me. It aligned like what I need to move forward on, but also what I need to prioritize now in the areas where I feel stuck, and just, not getting all scattered brain. Oh, I could do this or I could do that, and just keep there. And that is the communication. And then the more I did that, the more I was like, again, all the things I needed for that started coming in. But if I wasn't focusing on that, they wouldn't appear, right? We don't kind of see or notice them until we're really looking for them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I was like, I have to say that I highly recommend it, because yes, that to me, I've heard it in so many business things. Like that's the number one thing. They're like knowing where to prioritize. We get so many ideas, we get so many inspiration, but like knowing, trusting, going in on that, and you quickly see that that's the results you're looking for, right? Are from there. It's the
mhm.
focus, the hard. All of us
Focus.
are able to do incredible things, but being able to focus on our strength in that area that's going to really move the needle, that's
Mhm.
crucial for a business owner. And I feel that you helped me with that in the
Mm.
reading, but also as a recurring thing, right? Because it's my blueprint, I'm going to go back to this. If there are moments when
Mhm.
I get unclear and go again, right? That's where I'll go back. I
Mm.
know what to focus on.
Wow. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
direct and focus based on who
Yeah.
you are and how you operate and your gifts. Just
Yeah.
it's kind of like you with style, you by
Yep.
empowering people to tap into what's already in there. It almost like gives people permission to just go. Just take
Yeah.
action
Just
now.
go. Just do it.
Move
Just
forward.
create. You
You
got
know who
it.
you
Yeah.
are. Just go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so happy. This has been such an awesome, fascinating conversation, honestly. Um,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I've loved it. Well, I think we're at a good stopping point. So, how can people get in touch with your fabulous self and YAS? And do you have any current offerings that you'd like to share with our audience? Tell us all about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, sad news, my Instagram was hacked. I would normally say follow Instagram. That's okay though. I would recommend Pinterest with the
Okay.
LinkedIn. It's not the same, but hey, I love
Hey.
YouTube. I might bring up other platforms. We'll see if I get the Instagram back. But
Okay.
I would love, since I'm all about action, the best thing would be honestly to there's a vibe class that I take. It's a free class that I've created, and they can check that out. They can actively use the method. So instead of clicking buy on a outfit you're considering buying, click play on this class, and you can recreate that outfit with the clothes you have. So it's a really fun way to just try out the method. And then I go a little bit into the design elements and principles, and you can see them. I also explain my signature program, YAS Stylist. That's the 10-day program in there. So the vibe class is the best way to really like, if you're like listening and like, I want to try this out, I want to see this, just go right in. If you want something really simple, I also have this spending style quiz that I created that it's not a visual quiz. I still prefer visual quizzes over written quizzes, but this is really simple quiz that gets people thinking about their style from how they shop, because that's a huge area. And I've had so many conversations about this. I found there's sort of four categories of people, that why we're inspired by certain things and why we buy certain things. And so you take that quiz, it's fun, you can take it and get the results. And at the end, there's an option to join my newsletter. And if you do join my newsletter, you'll get tailored emails based on your results. So it's a really fun way that I could tailor and get even more personal with people's style. And yeah,
Awesome.
so those are my two recommendations. The quiz is about a minute or 2 minutes. It's very short. The vibe class is about like 45, 50 minutes. So either one, those are the best ways to connect and actually take action on something.
Okay, beautiful. And we'll include all your links.
Mhm.
And hopefully, when you get your Instagram account back from
It
hackers,
may never come back, which is really sad,
I
But
didn't know about that, but yeah,
yeah,
if that comes back, I'll
we'll
update.
add it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throw it in there. But this has been so awesome, Yana. Thank you so much for bringing all your expertise, all your experiences. I have loved every minute. This has been so much
Me
fun.
too. So much fun.
And thanks to everybody who's been watching and listening. And I will catch you next time on the Sacred Style Podcast. Take care. Subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot to help grow the channel and impact more beautiful souls like you. And remember, keep flowing and growing, my friend. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye!